just when you thought the competition in this space could not get more intense, it does. Walk us through why the number of the new series are so important.
Oh, I think we're finding ourselves in the golden age of video, where you have the entire television ecosystem pumping out more content than ever, and on top of it, this parallel universe of online video has emerged very rapidly with all the large platforms being in video, and all of us are creating a tremendous amount of content that's coming out. So it is truly the best possible time to be somebody who loves video, because you have more choices than ever.
We were talking this morning before the show about, in the old days, it was the studios, the old line studios, who would fight over talent, pay more for actors, contracts. Now it's essentially tech companies doing that. At what point does that get prohibitively expensive?
Well, I think it's actually everyone doing that today. But what we talk about in our book, in Streampunks, is that there's a new class of creators and new storytellers who are rising on YouTube. And they're getting tremendous audiences, millions of people all around the world, and they're building basically empires, both online and offline. And the third and really most important point is that this is not just for young people, which is a very common misperception, but it's for everyone, of people of all ages. And there's a great story of a lady called Jenny Doan, who runs the Missouri Star Quilt Company, who has built an empire around quilting through YouTube.
When you think about the premium subscription services,
Yeah.
how many do you think an individual family, the average individual family, will ultimately subscribe to?
It's hard to prognosticate on that, but I think it's several, because people just love content, and people generally go to what they like, and they don't mind paying for multiple services. I think people have music subscription services, they'll have video subscription services, several of each.
And does each have a different feel? Meaning, how do you define YouTube, whatever you think that represents, versus what you think HBO may represent, which is what Netflix or Amazon Prime or Showtime or what? And this is when it gets complicated, because you have all of this great content, but does each one have its own brand anymore?
I love this question, because you said the word confusing. I think it's very confusing because everybody is in video today, and the other part of the question was how we're different. And I think the difference for YouTube from the rest of the platforms is that we're an open platform where anyone can have a voice, which has brought out unexpected surprises. And the people who are building these massive audiences and followings on YouTube, the Streampunks that we describe in the book, are the ones who are building incredibly loyal following, and they all want to do bigger and more expensive programming, which is what we do with them for our own subscription service called YouTube Red. So that is how our strategy is different. We're leaning into the people who have built large audiences on YouTube and doing tremendous things with them.
So James Corden's Carpool Karaoke sort of became this global phenomenon on YouTube. Then Apple comes in and buys a piece of the franchise. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that is absolutely fine with us, because we have James Corden in our show on YouTube, and we have him globally. And while it came out on Apple, it has gotten even bigger on YouTube. So it's this is my point, that this is all just wonderful for users, because they're getting access to more content than ever. And all we focus on is to make sure that our users are really satisfied, they're engaged a lot with the content that the Streampunks that we described in the book are producing for them. And that's what sets us apart from all of the other platforms.
Can you build a Netflix parallel within YouTube while still being this big tent with all these users? I mean, Reed Hastings is fond, for some reason, of mentioning on his earnings calls how many more users YouTube has than Netflix, but they've really got this subscription business. Are you going to be able to do both?
Well, I don't think we're trying to do that. I don't think we're trying to copy Netflix. We are who we are. We're really comfortable with our identity as an open platform. And our subscription service is about offering more choice, more content for our users, and more high-value users for our creators. But we're really anchoring off of the people who have become really big on YouTube, the Streampunks, as described in the book, and they produce higher-level programming together with us, our money, and our promotion.
Live sports, when does it really happen? When's the tipping point? For digital companies,
that is a very dangerous prediction. I think you're starting to see some cracks in it today, but I think live sports are well and alive on broadcast TV, and I think it will take many years for all of that to unfold. And I think you may see a lot of collaborations between broadcast TV and online platforms as well. So I think that in itself is a very messy space as well. And I think it's just something to keep a close eye on for the next few years.
The evolution of the advertisement is getting interesting. People now talk about 6 seconds as something that is tolerable. I'll sit through 30 seconds on YouTube, and I wonder if you have found that initial ad in front, the pre-roll, is the most effective tool you have right now.
So I love that you're actually aware of this, and thank you for watching our ads, because they pay for all these amazing creators content. Well, actually on YouTube you do, because a lot of the ads are skippable.
Sure.
So we're in the business of limiting the friction for the users, which means skippable advertising that generates revenue.
By the way, when are they skippable and when not? Because sometimes you can press and sometimes you can't, but how does that happen?
It depends on the advertiser choice.
And so how much is the price that they're paying?
There are all kinds of different schemes for that. What we're trying to do is deliver on the advertisers' objections, whether it's reach, whether it's targeting, whatever different objections they have in order to increase their brand, sell their products, ship cases, etc. So they choose different ad units, and our most recent one is 6-second ads, which is really interesting because it's getting embraced very quickly and it's expanding tremendously. And even more recently, we've seen Fox embrace that themselves. So they've been they've been on the forefront of that with us.
Yeah, it might be part of football.
Yeah, exactly. So I think changing advertising is really is really.
Now, we did get some cautionary comments from WPP the last couple of weeks about softness in advertising, softness in packaged goods advertising. Has that been reflected where you are?
Not for us. Look, what we're focusing on is making sure that we engage users as much as possible, which is what we do with all of these great creators that we talked about in the book, and that we provide lots of frictionless advertising to them that delivers on the advertisers' objections. And when we do these things, we're fine. And the business is growing really well. So we're really excited about the fact that we are giving birth to a whole new set of storytelling and storytellers who build large global audiences. On the average, 60% of people's watch time and revenue comes from outside their home country. So we're basically in an export business. And then that it's actually not just for kids, but it's also for people of all ages.
You keep mentioning creators.
Yes.
Books about creators. You've dropped it many times here. You're not talking about the algorithm. Has the competition shifted more to getting the creators and getting them more committed to your platform versus others? Is that where the game really is now?
Well, I think everybody focuses on creators and on the creative community. We've been doing that for the last 10 years.
I mean, Vine didn't and died, right?
Well, I think they tried, to be fair, but it's a really difficult thing to do at large scale. And so this is something that we have been doing for a very long time. We have tens of millions of partners on YouTube. And we foster that community. We share a majority of our revenue with them to make sure that they can sustain their businesses and grow them. And many have grown in tremendous empires, both on YouTube as well as off YouTube. And we want to make sure that it's not just young people, that it's for people of all ages. And we have many great examples. So yes, it's absolutely about the focus on the creator and making sure that they can grow their businesses.
We've been talking for many minutes. We have yet to mention the F word, Facebook. Where does Facebook, I mean, when you wake up in the morning and think of your competition, we keep talking about Netflix and all these, I assume really you must be thinking about what Facebook is doing.
Well, I think if you're an internet company and you're born one click away from your competition. So that's like fact number one. Number two is what I said before, which is we focus on our users first and foremost. We have to know our strategy, focus on that. But be mindful of competition. But you can't be focused on them so much that it steers your strategy, because you would just change your strategy every single month.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.